Hello, good evening, and welcome back to the Final Flight podcast. We are here again for our brand new show, the Wing Room Review, and what an absolute belting guest we've managed to get on for the first show. Oisin Murphy, welcome, mate. Thanks for coming on. How are you?
I'm very well, guys. Thanks very much for having me, and hopefully we'll discuss some future stars.
Hopefully, mate. Yeah, like I say, that the whole idea behind this show was to sort of just have a little bit of review of the weekend, a few of the big races, chat about a few little eye catchers or horses to follow. As all the subscribers will know, we had a very successful sort of Cheltenham Anti-Post show, and we were well supported by the jockeys. So for you to come on and support us again on here, we do appreciate it, Oisin. So hopefully that'll continue after this. Rich and Joe, I've had a good weekend and a decent week so far. Looking forward to this series. I'll go with you first, Rich, seeing as Joe's on and off. He's in Mallorca.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, I'm away as well, so it was a bit of a struggle. But no, it's fine. Yeah, it's been good. So hopefully we had a good jumps, like you say. So following on to the flat. I'm a big flat guy, so fingers crossed. Fingers crossed it goes well.
Hopefully. Joe, you okay all the way from Mallorca, mate? You had a couple of winners today or not?
Yeah, loving it, mate. Chester's normally a graveyard, isn't it? First day pretty tough. Today, all right. Obviously, the Guineas was a good meeting as well to kick off. And good to end on Punchestown, really. Yeah, we massively hit the ground running with Oisin on first guest. Perfect. So can't wait. Hopefully, kick on now.
Hopefully, and like I say, we'll get straight stuck into the action, like you said there, Joe. The Guineas weekend, obviously the big flat kickoff. It was a good weekend all round. Oisin, I'm going to come to you first, mate, to kick us off. The 2,000 Guineas obviously won quite well by notable speech. I suppose just from a jockey's point of view, how did you think that sort of result stood up, and where do you think they're kind of going to go next?
Well, I saw him obviously win at Kempton. He actually went past me like I was stood still, and I thought he looked like a gorgeous horse. He's got a very deep girth. He's the type of horse, lads, he kind of always looks fat. He carries so much condition. And I thought he got a lovely ride from William, but there was no doubt he's the best horse in the race. He was able to sit on him during the fastest part of the race between the 3 and the furlong pole. And remember, at Newmarket, the last furlong's always slow because you go back uphill. And I was blown away by him. And I think the form will stand up. I think Rosalion's a very good horse as well. And it's actually nice as I'm a horse fan and a horse racing fan. It's nice to see two standout colts like that come to the fore.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I mean, I'll come to you, Rich. Obviously, City of Troy was the sort of long odds-on favourite, and he kind of wouldn't say fully performed. I mean, what did you make of maybe him not performing? I know kind of Augusta Rodin's done something similar in the past, and you see that him coming back from that, and obviously you're a massive fan of the boys in blue as well. You'll be over the moon with notable speech, won't you? Yeah,
I was very impressed by him. On City of Troy, I think I mentioned it, only 2 odds-on favourites, I think, have won in the last 30 years, so they're to be avoided. And, yeah, I mean, he broke well. He was up with the pace. I think that maybe cost him, like you say. I think notable speech was put in behind. The Zalian was tucked away for at least half the race, I think. I thought Sheeran ran a cracker. I mean, he was up with the pace and he still managed to stay on for 6th. I thought that was a decent one, but, yeah, very impressed by notable speech. I was on Mazzalian and I thought at one point he had him covered, and then Buick pressed the button and off he went, not letting him keep up. So, yeah, definitely very impressive.
Yeah, I mean, Joe, I think you put up Brazilian, didn't you? What did you think of the performance and going forward? Do you think he could reverse the form in the future or anything like that?
Yeah, definitely. I've seen Sean done an interview with Matt Chapman. I think it was at Windsor or somewhere. I'm sure it was Windsor. I recognise the paddock or whatever. But he mentioned about Rosalie and said, they'll take him back on at Ascot. They'll probably meet again there. They'll obviously look forward to the rematch. But yeah, Noble speech was very, very impressive. No real excuses for City of Troy in my eyes. Broke well, got the rail. he wasn't covered up, but he wasn't nowhere lit up. And I thought he was just beat a long way out. I'm sure I've seen a video of Yashin. I'm certain. Did you commentate it during the race?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I'd seen a video, and to be fair, you were exactly the same as me. I thought Rosellian had it, and then all of a sudden you'd look at Buick. Buick had him covered. Sat there quiet, and like you say, got to the dip, and you see some horses changing legs or something like that. And he just cleared away, done it very nicely. So yeah, I think two very good ones to take away, and you'll probably see your third good one in City of Troy. He'll definitely bounce back, won't he? I mean, there's already been support over him overnight for the Derby, back into roughly joint favourite in places. So I'm sure you'll see a different horse next time out.
Yeah, I've no doubt. We've seen it all before with the flat. It's never sort of, put anyone away after a bad performance. They always sort of do come back pretty well. Going on to the 1,000 guineas then, I'll come up to you again if I can, Oisin. You obviously had a ride in this on See the Fire. We had a big price winner in there, Malka. Sylvester de Souza making a bit of a big bashing entrance back into the UK. How do you think, that horse fared? And there were quite a few hard look stories, I thought, in this race. What did you make of it?
Yeah, it was interesting. It didn't feel like we went really, really quick, but when you look at the sectionals afterwards, we definitely went an even pace. And maybe I was using Fallen Angel as like my benchmark and a horse I was going to follow, and See the Fire never pulled. So I was very happy to just kind of sit on her quarter. But See the Fire didn't fire, guys. She underperformed. She was beaten halfway, and hopefully she can bounce back. I'd assume either the Coronation or something else that Aska will be her next target. And I'd be very hopeful from what I'd seen or what I'd felt in the mornings can be reproduced on the track. It just didn't happen for her on Sunday. I thought there were a few fillies that probably didn't run their races. I thought Fallen Angel being one of them. I think she's very good, and I think she can bounce back. El Malka never picked up the bridles, and Sylvester was always at her, and she benefited from the race really slowing down late on. I thought Ramatule deserved a lot of credit, a huge amount of credit, because she nearly won the race, and she has an awful lot of speed. And when she kicked clear, I actually thought she was home and hosed. I thought Porta Fortuna ran a super race. Tom gave her the most perfect ride. She relaxed super, and she always had the French filly as her target. And Tamfana, look, sometimes you get stuck behind the wrong horses, and it's happened me, and it'll happen me again. And she probably benefited from being able to fill up, no doubt. And then, when at the slowest point of the race, she obviously finished full of steam, and really got through the line. And I think some of those fillies will be better up in trip, particularly Tamfana. And I think, and the ratings suggest the same. The Colts are a standout versus the filly at the moment. There's I don't think the fillies even getting weight would have put it up to the two Colts in the Kipco 2000 guineas. So I think the Coronation is still quite an open race, particularly if El Malka didn't have a strong pace to run at. But as it was only her third start, you'd imagine there's more improvement to come. And actually, I don't know, I can't remember off the top of my head if she's Dubawi as well, but I have a love of that family, because Ben Battle is either her half brother or full brother. And he's one of the greatest horses I've had anything to do with. So I was actually delighted for Sylvester, and also for that family.
That's brilliant. Actually, I love that. Fantastic. Back that up, Joe. I think you quite like Dan Sequence. I think so did you, Rich. But what do you make of Dan Sequence's performance, and any others that you might want to mention?
Yeah, well, to be fair, it's very hard to sum up the race after Oisin said that. But Dan Sequence, strange race, really. Traded pretty short in running, and then got to the dip and just switched legs. And I think Buick knew it was over there. I mean, I thought she'd improved for the step up in trip. She clearly wants, a flatter track. She's a big baby, really. She was a big baby the time before when getting beaten by Pretty Crystal. she hung in. William had to try and straighten her up, and then she just didn't want to go past. I thought the slight step up and trip would help, and I think Buick knew his day was sort of done. When they got to the dip, but yeah, ran a brilliant race. To be honest, they were talking about it before the race, very very small, but got backed in everything was sort of in a favour really, and ran a brilliant race. Just collared at the line, and Malka, fair play. But yeah, it was a good race. But like Oisin said, I think the two colts were definitely ones to take out of the weekend, especially the Godolphin horse. Brilliant, Rob.
Fantastic. Have you got anything to add there, Rich, before we move on?
Not a great deal, but this is just why I like the flat. You get the best taking on the best. The 1,000, 2,000 guineas.
Hang on, we're not here to have a pop at the jumps, The jumps. I'm with you with the flat. Let's not throw stones. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying it is a lot more competitive. Anyway, but yeah,
you get them all against each other just for one day a week, one day a year. Sorry, go on.
Well, yeah, races like these are great because literally you can track a lot of these throughout the season because it is so early. A lot of these will improve, like Oisin said, up in trip. Some will drop in trip, and yeah, it's the two great classics. And yeah, I've not else to add really.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, that's the Guineas weekend. Then obviously we'll look forward to that again next year. We're just going to bob over to Chester now. Obviously we had today. And we're going to start with the Cheshire Oaks. You've got the Battle of the Fairies. Rich, you tipped the winner in this, I believe, today on Twitter. So well done on that. Oisin, you had a ride in this as well. Lasting Love. What did you make of that? The way, can you give us any insight into how maybe the race was run? So we could maybe, how can we take these horses out of this race, sort of thing?
Yeah, absolutely, lads. I felt like the first kind of half mile or so, we didn't go that fast. It was just a rolling pace, and we started to pick it up down the back then, probably with 6 to run, and Ryan's filly raced very green, and Rossa was kind of, in my eyes, probably had an ideal pitch because I thought Hector on Seaward would keep progressing and Ryan might stop, and then Kieran Schumacher might get stuck behind Ryan as he slows down. But actually, Ryan was able to kind of wake his filly up, and I think they both probably need to take a big step forward. The Volgeist, the winner, the Volgeist filly, and Ryan's filly for the Oaks. But I think both are probably capable of doing so. But lads, just going back to Guineas weekend, I don't think I've seen higher quality Oaks filly with little done, a similar profile as Friendly Soul. I thought, Friendly Soul ran against them today. I think she'd have put them to the sword. Then at the same time, lads, just as we're discussing the Oaks picture as a whole, I think Opera Singer is an absolute monster. I think Opera Singer, had she been in the Kipco 1000 Guineas at the weekend, would have been very interesting. And I think she's on target to go to Ireland for the Irish Guineas and then on to the Oaks. So it's obviously quite early days and a lot will happen over the next few weeks. But I just wanted to kind of point out Opera Singer's comeback, and of what we've seen this year. I think Friendly Soul is a standout, and those two fillies today, in my view, still have to improve an awful lot to touch the two I've just mentioned. And listen, Yilang as well, provided she continues to relax like she did on Sunday, I think she will probably stay a mile and a half, and also come into the Oaks picture, All right.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I mean, I'll come to you, Rich. Sort of a couple of points he's made there. I mean, there's so much potential progress to come from these horses, even after just a run or two. I mean, what do you make on sort of the Oaks picture and the way that race panned out today? Obviously, being on the winner, what made you pick that horse to win?
I'm honest with you, the draw probably swayed me a little bit. I think
you love a draw, don't you? You love a draw by a
draw. Yeah, Chester's one of those courses where it can be awkward.
Honestly, Oisin, every time I go to Pontefract, all I get off the text off Rich is draw, low draw.
He's right, though. He's right. Yeah.
Fortunately, he's right most of the time.
Yeah.
And I'm there trying to say, no, stall 10s are going to do it this time.
I mean, it just helps slightly. But yeah, I kind of agree with Oisin. For me, I can't see the Oaks winner out of there. The horses that were listed, I think, are far greater in quality. But I think the nice horses, the ones to probably follow, but probably not for the elite sort of races, I'd probably say.
Yeah, that's a fair comment. Joe, would you like to add anything on those races there? Or the Oaks picture, what are you thinking?
Yeah, definitely Friendly Soul, mate. I was well impressed, to be honest. I was going to mention that the horse isn't my eye catcher, but it was one I would follow. I've tweeted about it. Was it Kalpana in behind? Won the handicap very impressively, and then was pitched in here. But them two pulled well clear. But it was the fact that Friendly Soul just kept finding head down, battled, and I just feel like you don't know how much is there because you didn't see a horse go past her, or she just kept finding, which I thought was very impressive. Kieran Schumacher spoke very highly of her coming back in, said she'll improve plenty from that. And yeah, like what we've seen, opera singer, pretty short price favourite wherever she's targeted to go for this season. But for a horse we have seen this season, Friendly Soul, the most impressive so far. And yeah, impressive today. Like I say, it wasn't, you had Bailey in there, who's a bit of a character. Ryan's, like Oisin said, didn't settle and then sort of looked outpaced. It was on the Aiden second string out in front. Who was on it?
Hector actually made the run for Rafe on the second string, Seaward.
Yeah. And who was on the inside? Aiden O'Brien's. Who was Ryan following?
Ryan ended up following. No, Ryan ended up sitting second on the outside of Seaward.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, and so it's just that I thought
Galileo Dame, I think, is what the other one you want, Joe. Is it?
What's that? Sorry.
Galileo Dame or Dam?
Yeah.
Like the race sort of just, in my opinion anyway, is not up to that picture of what we did see the Guineas weekend anyway. Yeah, Galileo Dame, the money come in the end. Like I say, I didn't manage. Well, I watched the highlights of the race. But yeah, it was. I wouldn't say it was disappointing, but I don't think we've seen a classic winner in there or a superstar in that race anyway.
Yeah, fair points. I mean, obviously, we're going to move on and sort of finish this review with the Chester Vase. Obviously, we had Hidden Law, who put in an unbelievable performance, and then obviously, sadly, went wrong after, which is a real shame. Oisin, you obviously rode in the race again. I support a tentative. What did you make of the race and the performance? And obviously, anything you'd like to mention on Hidden Law?
Yeah, guys, I'm so sorry for the horse and his connections. He was a small, little, compact, very good mover, and I only saw him take off from behind. As my race was over, and it looked like he literally took off. And it's one of those things. I think William was pulling up on him, and he put his foot down wrong, and unfortunately, it was the end of the road for him. Guys, it's very, very sad because these sort of freak accidents, they happen even in the stable sometimes or out in the field, and there's just no understanding it how a light sort of fit, very good moving horse like that can have a life-ending injury when other horses who are heavy topped and had loads of racing or whatever are perfectly sound every time. There's just no rules. So my condolences to Connections and everyone who probably fell in love with him after or watching his performance today.
Yeah, I mean, I'll come to you, Rich. I'll sort of echo exactly what Oisin said there. It was a real taking performance, and I switched off as it was literally crossing the line. I didn't see anything till after. It is just a real shame, and we put a few posts out to say thoughts with Connections and things, but it's just a real sad sort of way to end the weekend. But what a performance in the end to win! It was fantastic to see. You got anything you'd like to mention on him?
Yeah, it's gutting. He looks like a horse with a lot of ability. He was going to win some big races, wasn't he? But I think I saw Gosden being interviewed afterwards and said just what Oisin said. It could happen out in the yard. The horse could be running free in the fields. It's just one of those freak accidents that it just happens in nature. So it's sad. It's sad for Connections, and yeah, it's just gutting really.
Certainly. Is there anything else you'd like to finish on, Joe, before we move on to the next segment?
No, exactly the same, really. Gutting. I was exactly the same as you, James. Like I said, I was out and I just peeled off from the family to watch the race, and seeing he'd won, and sort of swiped up and carried on, and then all of a sudden I checked Twitter and it was sort of everywhere, and it puts a dampener on it, doesn't it? Definitely. But if there is any positive to take out of it, the horse went out and sort of showed what he could do, but it's gutting, isn't it? You can never sort of. It always puts a dampener on the day, and especially Connections, and William. I bet William felt sick after it. But yeah, you can't say much more apart from condolences to all Connections and everyone involved with the horse, really.
Yeah, all our thoughts are with everyone associated with him. That's definitely one for sure. Right then, so we will move on then. So, Oisin, I'm going to pass you on to Rich for a minute now. He's going to ask you he's going to grill you on a few of your rides, good or bad. We shall see. But we'll just
Perfect.
It's just more of a bit of an insight into sort of what how you feel the race was won or lost, or how it was run, that sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? So, Rich, go on, mate, take it away.
So the two I picked, one of them we've mentioned already. Is it Kalpana versus Friendly Soul?
Yeah. Richard, I felt like we were probably going too fast. I broke not super, but pretty well, and she never pulls Kalpana, so I was quite happy to kind of let her roll forward, and she was literally out of her comfort zone from 100 yards after leaving the gate the whole way to the line, and I just couldn't believe that Kieran was able to keep going on a filly that hadn't raced on turf before, had one start at Kempton. Yeah, and even at the line, like he galloped out over the road, and Kalpana was like pulled up in 5 strides, having given her absolute all. I do take notice as well at Newmarket how they pull up, because you ask them for maximum effort into a dip, obviously within reason, because you're trying to keep them balanced, but it's the ones that you can't stop after the line. They're the ones that normally set themselves apart. And I've no doubt Kalpana is like a high class filly, but she had everything in her favor: the ground, fitness edge, perfect trip in my opinion. And I was never confident that I was going to beat Kieran, really.
No, good stuff. Yeah, I mean, you pulled well clear third, so she's still a good horse to follow, I think. But
yeah, like in a normal year, even obviously so far back to the third, I'd have won by 10 lengths, let's call it. We'd all be quite excited about her. So I don't want to be downhearted that she wasn't good enough the other day, but I just felt like kind of everything went to plan, and I ran into one.
Can I just chip in there? Like them sort of days, Oisin, where you maybe finish a length behind. Would you see like a reappearance sort of later down in the season that the Gosden horse has more to improve on and could have more in her favour, if you get me? Like when you turn up and you're beating a length and you think, well, that wasn't in our favour, got a clear passage or whatever. But
yes,
pretty fair. Both type of thing.
I see your question, Joe. Like when you compare Friendly Soul to Kalpana's types, Friendly Soul's probably a bigger model who's going to get stronger, as will Kalpana. But just as types, you think there's more improvement physically in Friendly Soul than Kalpana, and it doesn't always follow that rule. But that was my impression. Yeah.
Spot on. The other one I was looking at was he's becoming a little bit of a favourite. Coltrane and the Cigaro Stakes. He's 7 now, but he keeps on pulling it out the bag.
Unbelievable, lads, because when I rode him in Dubai, he wouldn't pick up the bridle, and actually he trained really well that week. And before we sent him, he's never like a super classy workhorse, but it's as well as he ever worked. So I was absolutely gutted in Dubai, and Andrew's idea was to put cheek pieces on him. And you think sometimes, God, what's a little bit of wool on the side of the bridle going to make to a horse? But God, he was different the other day. I actually felt like I sat probably too close to a strong pace, but I wanted to make him feel like he was running away with me. So I had the like. This is mind games with a horse, but I had the bit quite high in his mouth, like pulling all the time, although I didn't really need to be pulling. And I wasn't pulling hard enough to slow him down either. So I ended up being like, in my opinion, too close to Quickthorn, and um, the race was always going to set up for the closers. But I thought he did well under pressure. He wasn't explosive like he was in Sagaro last year, but we're going to send him straight to Ascot, and I hope there's a bit of improvement now with confidence, and I'll obviously ride him with more confidence that he's going to actually go when I say giddy up. At Ascot and the Gold Cup, and yeah, I'm really pleased that he bounced back, and I got some credit as well for moving back away from Rab's horse in the straight or in the last kind of 2 furlongs. But actually, lads, I did that, yes, to move away from Rab's horse, but also because I wanted him to switch back to his left lead. So I turned in, he was obviously on his right lead, his inside leg, and when I wanted him to switch back to his left, because you always get like a bit more energy out of them, and he just didn't do it naturally for whatever reason. So I kind of had to direct him and put him a little bit off balance, so then he would switch leads. And that's like very kind of jockey talk, but I just wanted to give you an insight into why I did that. Yeah.
Do you think he can get close to Kyprios?
Kyprios, when he's at his absolute best, like he was at Longchamp last year, I don't think there's any horses that can get close to him. But I think on very fast ground, I think Kyprios probably is less suited, and he. We don't know what Kyprios is always going to show up. So, and I'm not saying he's ungenuine. Yeah, I'm not saying he's ungenuine, but he can race behind the bridle, and particularly on fast ground, it probably isn't his ideal condition. So, yeah, I'd look forward to Coltrane, and he's not probably going to go off favourite at Ascot, and people have been able to follow him for a few years, so hopefully he'll be bang there.
Sorry to butt in there. The stairs are so open this year. I mean, I'm certain I've seen it. Was it the trainer or the owner after that race? Or the second Jamie Spencer was on, said get all the money on, and then I was there the year Stradivarius got boxed in and Kyprios won at Ascot, and Kyprios looked lazy. Then Ryan come in and said, that wasn't the real Kyprios. So I don't think we've seen a standout horse in that division really since Stradivarius dominated for a couple of years really. So it is. I'm well excited for the Ascot, because it seems everyone's heading there, and hopefully we'll have Kyprios back, and
Courage Mon Ami, and the filly the filly the other day that you just spoke about, the Golden Horn filly. I actually won a Group 3 on her at St. Cloud the back end of last year, and I made all. And she's a very, very strong stayer. And obviously, Jamie did the right thing. First run in months and months and months since my Group 3 went on her. I genuinely feel like it was a career best from her, but there's much more to come. And if you, she is a proper strong stayer. When she relaxes, 2.5 miles is within her grasp. So for people that want to have like a small anti-post bet, maybe on the Ascot Gold Cup, certainly I wouldn't put you off having a little each way play on her, because she's going to be, or she should be, a price. And that is her target. And in my view, she will stay. All right.
Yeah, perfect, brilliant.
Perfect, yeah.
Love that. Right, brilliant. Thank you for that, Oisin. That is exactly the sort of insight we're after. So we really do appreciate all that. It's great to listen to, and it's fantastic. The next section, then, before we sort of wrap things up, is what we're going to do is ask each jockey who comes on to maybe give us 1 or 2 like horses to follow. It could be somebody we maybe haven't seen, or somebody that you're maybe thinking you're going to be riding down the line and you're sort of looking forward to. Anything like that, just any sort of insight would be fantastic. Do you have any for us?
Yeah, so Guys, I'll put up a couple. I think Dancing Queen, who won, sorry, not Dancing Queen, Running Queen, who won at Salisbury at the weekend. Kieran Fallon Roder. I think she's a filly to follow. I think she's a genuine kind of hardy Ascot type 2-year-old. It's likely she'll go to the Marygate. If I have, hopefully I'll ride her. If I have like fast kind of speedier fillies in front of me that Running Queen can kind of get behind the bridle, then I think it'll be perfect for her. And I think she's definitely up to like listed level, if not a bit better. She's a very kind of early contender for the Queen Mary. And then the fella I finished second on, I was absolutely gutted on Sunday, guys. I had 3 seconds and then 2 seconds today and 1 second in France on Monday. So I'm going through a bit of a second-itis and I'm trying not to let it fry my brain.
Factor every time well on the machine.
I know. I'm sorry, mate. But
Flew on today.
the Ectodar colt, you'll have to look up his name, the half to Purosang. I feel like physically he's got an awful lot of improvement in him. He just got ran down at Newmarket. I felt like I couldn't press the button down into the dip, and he actually handled it well because I didn't throw everything at him. And then Sean Levy gave his the perfect ride and he ran me down late. But actually crossing the line, I still had horse. And I feel like 5 or 6 would be fine. I think he'll get 6 standing on his head. And I've won the Coventry before. And at the moment, obviously, lots change with 2-year-olds between now and any day. But he's like a Coventry candidate. And I firmly believe that. And I thought William Buick's filly that he won on at Newmarket over the weekend was an absolute beauty. The chestnut one, you'll have to look her up, but I thought she was professional, fast, and very good. And
was that in the second last race?
Exactly.
Well
and I'd imagine she'll go for something like the Albany. And whether she takes in another race or not, I don't think is that important because of how she behaved and everything. I just thought the 2-year-old races the other day at Newmarket and the Newbury race that Running Queen came out of were miles better than what we've seen in the UK so far. You know, Ryan Moore won on that No Nay Never yesterday, the chestnut one. She was pretty. Was it yesterday? It might have been the day before, actually, lads. Might have been Monday. Look up her name as well. I thought she was very good. It probably fits into the Albany category as well. But if you were asked me to pick Williams filly or her, I'd be choosing Williams filly at the moment. All right.
Mountain Breeze, that one. I think she's called.
Mountain Breeze.
Thanks, Rich. Yeah.
She's related to Pinatubo, I think. So
she's a sister to or half sister to Pinatubo. Yeah.
So she's got his speed.
Yeah. You know, I don't want to get too carried away, but she's only won a maiden. But Pinatubo, I think, broke his maiden at Wolverhampton. I mean, this filly's probably at the same stage already ahead of Pinatubo, you know. So if she continues to go the right way, God knows how good she is.
Was the horse she was on about Tropical Storm that finished second to?
Yes. Thanks, Rich. I always remember their pedigrees, but maybe not their names.
Right.
And it's no good to the casual racing fan. Me shouting out the Ectodar half to Purosang. People are like, what the heck? Yeah.
Was that Sean Levy? What was it called?
Was it the anchor or something like that?
Something like that. It was in the actor. Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, that is brilliant, Oisin. Thank you for those. We'll definitely keep an eye on them. Then no doubt we'll be backing them blind regardless. So, yeah, thanks for that, mate. We do appreciate it. Right then, so we'll come to the final bit then. Rich, I'm going to start with you. We're just going to quickly fly through an eye catcher each for the weekend, and then we'll sort of finish on that. Rich, have you managed to spot a nice one for next time?
Yeah. I mean, she won, so you've all
already
seen
missed
it,
the prize. Fantastic. Great. Here we go. Week 1.
I've gone for Unequal Love for Haggis. It's a horse that, I mean, we followed last year, but I watched an interview Haggis did after the race, and he was very bullish about her. I mean, I think Haggis thinks this could be like one of his top fillies to follow for the season, whether or not she's good enough to be an elite. I mean, she's not. I don't think she's won any Group races or anything. I think that was a listed contest, but I think she could probably put up a good fight. So yeah, I would definitely make sure she's in one of your trackers, and watch out for her next time.
Fantastic. Joe, have you got an eye catcher for us, mate? You still me all correct? I'll go. Well, I picked one out that actually run on Monday over at Windsor. It's a horse called Abel Kane. It's an horse I've kind of had in the tracker before, so I thought I'd stick this one up first. Kind of been dropping down in the weights, dropping down in class. They dropped him back in trip, and there wasn't he'd been running with headgear on previously, and they kind of did the same thing last season. They had sort of 3 or 4 runs with no gear on, and then they put the visor and the tongue tie on, and lo and behold, he went and bolted up. So I'm watching out for that one. That's a horse called Abel Kane. You run on Monday at Windsor. Watch for the step back up in trip. That's what I'll be aiming for that one. Joe, you with us?
Oh, yeah, just back in. Sorry about that. I mean the obvious one for me was in the Guineas. The one that Jamie Spencer was on that found a bit of trouble. But one I would definitely keep on side of. Aiden maybe isn't having the greatest time of things at the minute, but I really did like Whistle Jacket. Is it Whistle Jacket? Brother to Little Big Bear won very nicely, pulled away from the Ammo horse with David Egan on, who won first time out. Made debut over 6, just got caught. This was over 5 furlong, very speedy, done it very nicely, sort of led, and Ryan done it very comfortably, probably learnt a lot as well. One I'd definitely keep on side of there. Lovely breeding. So yeah, that's one I'd keep on side of, and obviously the Guineas horse, and then Friendly Soul as well. I'd put that in your tracker.
I have got one that actually didn't win. If that makes you.
Oh, go on then, Joe. Go on then, Rich. That'd be nice. Why not? Throw it in.
He actually finished 3rd in the Tropical Storm and the Actor race. Al Quadra for Godolphin.
Oh yeah, Al Quadra. Yeah.
He's one I picked out when I think he finished 3rd on his 3rd or 4th in his debut, but it was an eye-catching run then, and he finished 3rd second time out, but he's going to win eventually. I mean, he looked well prepared, professional. Yeah, definitely keep an eye on it. He probably won't be a prize, but he'll definitely win next time out, I assume. I hope, because I'll be on him.
I hope soon. I've got my money on him.
Fantastic. Well, that's kind of it for the show, man. I was going to mention one more thing, Oisin, before we do go. Rich actually tipped a massive price winner today, and you actually came second to it ahead in the first race at Chester today. I just thought I'd get a quick line in. How do you think that went? Do you think you could have done anything a bit better there to pip Rich? I was praying you were going to pip him, but you didn't.
It was a bunch finish.
Yeah, I actually could have had David Nolan's position as he was strong outside me. So I'm a bit annoyed with myself that I didn't get to the rail. I haven't actually watched the replay yet, but it was apparent to me that they were going too fast. The winner and I came basically from upsides each other. And there was going to be pace collapse, and the reason I decided to go out around them was Al Shabab Stone doesn't have he's not a horse that you can say go, then wait, and then go again. So I felt like the obvious thing to do was just keep the revs up as they were stopping around me. But I was disappointed that Dave Nolan got the perfect trip because I'm sure he was outside me in the gate. I'm sure I somehow should have been in his position and he in mine. And it was annoying that was the difference between winning and losing.
Yeah, it just shows you how tightly at the margins are when it comes to the flat. I mean, I was on the 4th beyond Borders, who come from stall 1, and it kind of blew the start completely. And it just shows you how it is such fine margins, but no doubt you'll get that one up again next time. Right, that's it for the first week 1 show of the Weighing Room Review. Oisin, again, thank you for coming on and giving us your time. You've been brilliant. The insight you give us has been fantastic. The last question would be, have you enjoyed yourself?
I have, lads. I'm really delighted with your knowledge, and I can see why you've been backing plenty of winners, and keep the momentum going.
That's it.
We'll certainly try doing that. Not sure about how many winners we're back, but we do it. Rich,
it'll all change when we go to York, James.
There's a reason why Rich is in a caravan. That's where he actually lives, But no, honestly, it's been fantastic. Guys, you got anything else you'd like to say before we go?
No, just thanks for Oisin for coming on. It's week 1. Get a jockey on like yourself. It's great. I mean, us 3 are just normal racing fans that just like talking about it. So
Oh no, my
Yeah,
pleasure, lads. My pleasure.
Joe.
Yeah, like I say, loved it. Thank you for coming on. Couldn't get a better guest, could we, for week one? And keep riding the winners, and we'll keep backing the winners if you ride them.
Thanks. You mean stop coming second and start winning. Yeah.
Luckily for you there, Oisin, Rich does a lot of place bets, so as long as you're in the first 2 or 3, we're happy.
Cheers, lads.
Right, well, thank you for again coming on, Oisin. Again, everyone, do like and subscribe to the channel if you've enjoyed the show. And we'll be back in next week, hopefully with another jockey on. And we'll see you all again very soon. Thank you very much, and goodbye.
See you later.